What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us for another installment of Taking It Back. I'm with my very good friend, Zach Payne of Red Pill 78. What's up, buddy? How we doing today?
I'm doing well, just trying to keep it together. We were talking before the show about our shared difficulty sleeping, and I have a couple of solutions, but even with those solutions, I'd probably say I average about 5 hours a night.
That sounds wonderfper right now.
Yeah.
5 hours a night sounds like a dream, pun intended. Um, but yeah, other than that, how's your December going so far? Are you all ready for the holidays? Are you all situated and ready to go?
Yeah, I'd say I'm ready to go. I just got to get my mom's present out. Lisa and I have already exchanged presents because, when you live at the same place and the mail is being delivered, and nowadays they just write whatever it is on the outside. So, like, what the hell? She got me this amazing plasma globe. It's like a 15-inch glass plasma globe with the amazing feature of all these beautiful colors. It's like pink and purple and like green, like the aurora borealis, and like orange sparks, like you're welding or something like that. It's pretty sweet.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna pull up a picture here. I'll show you through the miracle of this camera here. Take a look. If it won't work.
Yeah, it's not focusing real good, but I can tell what it is. Like I just really make it out. That's cool, man. Well, you're way further ahead than I am at this point. So I got to play some catch up. Want to give a big shout out to the Badlands Media family and a big thank you for syndicating today's broadcast. As always, it's always very exciting to be with the whole Badlands fam over there. So shout out to you guys. Everyone out there, please give us a thumbs up wherever you're watching. If you're on pill.net, make sure you repost the show, hit that red pill button. And again, just thank you all so much for spending a part of your Thursday afternoon with us here on Taking It Back. Let's start with our sponsors. We got a couple sponsors here for the beginning of the show. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump right in to the discussion. Our first sponsor is Easy RX. This is a new one here for this show. So hey there, Badlanders. We got some exciting news for you when it comes to your health and well-being. Easy RX Drug has got your back. First off, they have a huge selection of generic medications covering everything from pain relief to chronic conditions, all at unbeatable prices. And here's the best part, folks. Quality assurance is their middle name. Easy RX Drug products are sourced from reputable manufacturers, ensuring top-notch quality and effectiveness every single time. Worried about breaking the bank? Don't be. At Easy RX Drug, generic doesn't mean compromising on quality. You can save big, up to 80% compared to those pricey brand name medications. Looking for specific medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, naltrexone, testosterone, cypionate, carisoprodol. Whoever gave me this ad read, I thank you for this. Augmentin, doxycycline. There's a bunch from here, guys. I'm sorry. We've got you covered. Badlanders, your health is your wealth. It's time to take control and start your journey to wellness with Easy RX Drug. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRx to take that first step towards a healthier, wealthier you. Use promo code Badlands10 for 10% off when you spend $299 or more. That's badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRx, promo code Badlands10. And then we also have a quick message from our very good friend Mike Lindell over at My Pillow.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Christmas sale ever. You get our brand new 6-piece My Towels for only $29.98, or rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper as low as $99.99. Or how about My Pillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98? There's something for everyone. Duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more. Well, I know My Pillow products make for the perfect Christmas gifts, so I'm going to extend my money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2024. So go to MyPillow.com now or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get huge discounts on all My Pillow products. For example, you get our 6-piece towels for only $29.98. or get your very own MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98. It's our biggest Christmas sale ever. Get all your shopping done now while quantities last.
All right. Big thank you to the sponsors of this broadcast. Please, guys, continue to support these sponsors. It's a great way to support Badlands Media and the show itself, too. So thank you guys again for all of the support you give us. All right, Zach.
First of all,
yes.
Where the hell's Frank? I'm here. I'm here for Frank. That's somebody. Why isn't Frank on the show anymore?
Frank's been consistent lately. I've been more consistent than Frank has, to be fair, this past month or so. But no, Frank is doing some holiday stuff with his daughter today. They're having a good time, and I think that's awesome that he's taking a night and doing some family time. So big shout out to Frank. We love Frank, and he'll be back. He'll be back next week, I think, for sure. And then we'll have to see about the Christmas week, what we're going to be doing. I'll probably be here doing something, and we'll see who's available. But
what day of the week is Christmas?
Christmas is on a Monday, so I feel like there's enough space there that we should be able to on the 28th do a show.
I'm down.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So we'll definitely be here then that Thursday. All right, man. Hunter Biden defying his congressional subpoena. This to me is fun, right? Because especially, covering the Q posts, and there was this concept of the boomerang, right? The boomerang that the deep state and the establishment does that eventually comes back and will bite them in one way or another. And I can't help but think of Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, was it Roger Stone, maybe another one, all held in contempt of Congress for not showing up to depositions when they were subpoenaed. And they were all charged and prosecuted. I think there was a couple convictions mixed in there as well. They're being appealed. But the point being is that Merrick Garland did not hesitate when it came to making these charges. So now Hunter Biden is in the exact same boat, and they've set a precedent here that it's going to be very difficult for them to not look like serious hypocrites without charging Hunter Biden. They're going to feed right into this two-tier justice system narrative that President Trump and many on the right have been complaining about, this weaponized federal government. So first of all, what are your thoughts on Hunter Biden skipping? And then, speak a little to that, the boomerang effect that we're currently just starting to see the fruits of.
Well, first of all, I wasn't surprised to see that Hunter Biden did not want to testify behind closed doors. A lot of people were kind of angry as we were talking about it. Why would they make him testify behind closed doors? To get it out, we need it in the public.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have some very specific thoughts on it. Closed door sessions are for open discussion of things that cannot be discussed in an open session. So in a closed session, you can talk about classified stuff. You can talk about national security stuff. You also get the story of the person who's under oath on the record. And when nobody's listening, they're going to be a lot more likely to say things that they wouldn't say publicly. And so if Hunter Biden's story changes from a private setting to a public setting when the public is listening, well, then he walks right into a perjury trap. Now, so there's a reason for that. It's often been done like that. It's just I don't know that people have necessarily paid as much attention because it's the son of the alleged president of the United States. So of course people have quite a close eye on it.
Are they limited to 5 minutes a Congress member behind closed doors? Because I feel like that's part of the downfall of the public hearings. I talked about it a bit yesterday, is you get this 5 minutes, you're in front of the cameras. So every one of these idiots takes like 2-3 minutes to grandstand and hear the sound of their own voice before they even really start questioning the witness. I feel like you don't get that wasted time. And I don't even know if they have time limits on each member or if it's the party as a whole asking questions. Do you have any insight into the difference from that standpoint?
I would think that they would still have some sort of limitation on the questioning. I could be wrong. Honestly, I've never been to a closed door session. So I can't tell you specifically, but I have seen transcripts which made it look like the closed door sessions ended up being much, much longer than what you get in public. It could be that when it's public and they've got that time limit, they just want to hit upon the most important, the most impactful stuff. And then they've still got everything that this person said on the record, under oath, behind closed doors, and it still can't be used against them. Just because it was taken under a closed door session doesn't mean that it can't be released later on. But it's especially useful also when there's ongoing investigations, and perhaps they don't want to tip their hand about the line of questioning. So then if they're going after someone in specific, that person won't know exactly what direction they're taking. So, there's a whole bunch of various reasons why it would be good. Now, as far as Hunter Biden, pulling this media stunt, I'm honestly wasn't surprised about that either, for the aforementioned reason, but also just because I think that it demonstrates his complete lack of connection. He's totally disconnected from reality on this stuff. Hang on. I saw this great tweet that Lisa sent me earlier, and I need to read it because it was so good. And okay, so Hunter Biden spent $1 million on hookers, emptied his daughter's college fund to buy crack, refused to support a stripper he impregnated. He snorted cheese when he ran out of cocaine. He screwed his sister-in-law after his brother died of cancer, and today claimed Republicans have no shame. Mic drop. That was so good. So good. Anyways, the idea that it's the Republicans that are unnecessarily following Hunter Biden, and that they're taking orders from Trump. When Trump was in office, they didn't do any of this stuff to the Democrats or Joe or Hunter. It highlights once more the level of just complete lunacy on behalf of Hunter Biden. He expects that he's going to be able to get away with this, that he's not going to be facing any repercussions. He expects because his father lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, he can go ahead and flaunt that subpoena and everything's going to be fine. But to the point you made earlier, he and the rest of his family have now been walked into this sort of legal jeopardy. They're in a dead-end alleyway. And either the Justice Department goes after him, risking the ire of the Biden family, or they do absolutely nothing, which is what I anticipate they'll do. And it further highlights the existence of that two-tiered justice system. And, we'll be pissed. Americans will also be pissed, who are perhaps not all that political. They'll look at it and they'll say, well, wait a second. I thought contempt of Congress was tantamount to insurrection, with the way that they talked about it with Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro and such. So I think it's a win-win situation either way. But ultimately, I do not expect any form of tangible justice while Joe Biden is in D.C.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, right? It's hard to imagine. I read something though that these because Hunter Biden has a bunch of new charges against him for the tax evasion. I read that they replaced the lead prosecutor under David Weiss. There was a fixer kind of leading the charge underneath him, and he was replaced by someone who's a bit more no nonsense, fair, true to the law kind of deal, and that's why you're seeing that. So who knows? I mean, maybe they will push.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact that Weiss was actually given the power to bring those charges in other venues. He no longer has to specifically work with somebody else. So, yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I think it would be great if we could see more of it. They may be forced to make an example out of Hunter Biden. I think that would surprise a lot of people. It would definitely surprise me, but it's something that's certainly within the realm of possibility. And then there's also the question of Joe Biden and Eric Swalwell's involvement in the scheduling of this press conference. Karine Jean-Pierre in a press secretary setting, she admitted that Joe Biden knew what Hunter Biden was going to do. So he had premeditated knowledge of Hunter's intentions to completely thumb his nose at that congressional subpoena. So that in and of itself could be considered aiding and abetting a criminal action. And certainly you can directly say that about Eric Swalwell because he organized the thing.
Do you think they're given the Chinese connections, do you think they're Eskimo brothers with Fang Fang?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I should. Did you? I need to show you the meme that I made yesterday for the.
You can share your screen on the Zoom call here anytime you want.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull. This was actually like the thumbnail for my video, but I removed the text so that it could just be used as a meme. All right, let me share screen, and there we go. All right, so you can see here. This is the a shot from the actual live press conference on Red Pill News Live. Hunter Biden speaks on Capitol Hill. Eric Swalwell with unknown campaign aides, also his crack dealer and a series of various pimps. And then there's a stripper in the background here. But you can see Eric Swalwell standing by with a couple of Asian campaign aides. I'm just assuming they're working in his San Francisco office. Obviously working hard to make sure that he gets all the information that he needs about all that sensitive stuff. But obviously a little bit difficult now that he lost his committee assignments.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making that. Okay, so now the question is, how do I freaking end it? It's over here. Okay, there we go. There you go.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what the Justice Department does, or if Joe Biden just simply gives him a pardon. I could see it going that way too. Like,
oh, of course.
Yeah, Biden just straight up giving a pardon and then announcing he's too old or some kind of health issue and just kind of stepping aside. As we sit here today, man, do you still think Biden's the guy for 2024, or is there going to be a switch hitter?
I mean, every day it becomes increasingly more likely that they're going to be forced to put somebody else in there. At the end of the day, ultimately, I hope it's Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a campaign ad for Donald Trump. I would be so happy if it's him in 2024, just to see them on the debate stage, watching him get ripped apart, especially knowing everything that's been revealed. It would be, just incredible stuff. But I think that it is becoming increasingly likely that they just won't be able to run him, not only medically, but also just for the series of scandals. And if he pardons his son while he's in the middle of his first term, then yeah, his career is donezo. It's completely done. So, I don't see a losing strategy here. Like, no matter what angle you take it from, like, I like every possible road we could be going down, because, what's the ultimate goal from my perspective with delivery of information like this is just waking people up. And, in the same way that Joe Biden's a campaign ad for Donald Trump, Hunter Biden is a bright neon sign for everything that's wrong in Washington, D.C. And the more people who realize that, the fewer people are going to be comfortable with anyone who is an entrenched D.C. oligarch remaining in power. We've lost a number of Republicans here recently announcing that, like Kevin McCarthy, he's such a pussy. He's leaving before his term's even over. You just had another guy announce that he's not going to be running. Every single one of those open slots is an opportunity for an America First candidate to come in.
Look at the power one Matt Gaetz has, right?
Yes,
exactly. Look what he was able to do. Almost, I can't say single-handedly, because he had to, bring a handful of others along, and the Democrats certainly helped him out. But the nuts on him to go and do that and stand up to his own party and hold them accountable and, make significant headway in the way business is done in Washington, D.C. And he's one man. I mean, imagine if, you replace some of these rhino chumps that are retiring, taking their ball and going home, with more people cut from the cloth of a Matt Gaetz or a Lauren Boebert or a Anna Paula Luna or people, and even MTG, like people like that who are willing to really put their neck out there and, to take things to the level that they need to actually have legitimate, tangible change in DC. So it's very exciting to see. I want to get back to the Bidens in a second, but you mentioned Kevin McCarthy. Did you see some of the stuff he said in his final speech on the floor?
No, I missed it.
Here. So I'm not going to play the video because I think it's kind of long, but he basically says, I got elected minority leader while another colleague of mine from my state, Nancy Pelosi, got elected speaker. I watched the Democrats stand up and they were very diverse. They looked like America. I watched us stand up. We had lost the majority. I quote and say we look like one of the most restrictive country clubs in America. I thought at that moment I could be the leader of a declining party, or I could focus on what I know brought me to this party, conceived in liberty, dedicated the proposition that we are all equal. And I would take that message to places people didn't think they would vote for a Republican. I mean, he's trashing his own party while singing the Democrats' praises on the way out the door. Zach, this guy, good fucking riddance. I don't know what Donald Trump ever saw in him. I never understood the endorsement and the constant push for Kevin McCarthy. I have my issues with Mike Johnson at this moment too, but my God, is he 10 times better than Kevin McCarthy, and these little shots he's taken on the way out the door, I think speak to the man that he really is.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. And, the only thing that I can think is that it was just about, once again, the exposure of the information and the timing that it gave us. We had a majority. Kevin McCarthy came in as Speaker of the House. He did absolutely nothing. He did exactly what many of us thought that he was going to do. Give him a chance. Let him see how he's going to perform. But at the end of the day, Kevin McCarthy proved that he was just another Washington bureaucrat. Doesn't matter what party he has after his name. He was the exact same as everybody else next to him. That right there is what needs to change. Just because you have a different color to your skin, or because you got something hanging between your legs or not, it doesn't make you a good politician. What makes you a good politician is wisdom, intelligence, and more than anything, understanding your constituents and being willing to go to bat for them and not for your boyfriend who's a lobbyist.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's what's his name? Frank Luntz or Lutz?
Frank Luntz. Yes.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Real fast, Veronica Q, the promo code for the Easy RX is Badlands10, and I believe that's only good on orders over $299 or more. But it's Badlands10, and you get there by going to badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRX. So that is how you get to that. So I just wanted to make sure. I had a question in the build chat over how to take advantage of the sponsors offer. All right, so they officially launched the impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. Every single Republican voted yes. I was kind of surprised to see the conference stick together on the vote, but I'm happy it went through. I thought it was maybe a bit of a strategical blunder to have the vote. With such a slim majority and so many rhinos, especially ones that don't care about re-election, I was just waiting for 3, 4, 5 of them to kind of vote no, and then take a lot of the wind out of the sails of the entire investigation. Give the media a really strong narrative to focus on rather than any evidence. But no, they stuck together. 221 votes to officially launch the impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden. How big of a deal is that in your eyes, Zach, getting that vote? Does it fundamentally change anything in your eyes? I mean, Nancy Pelosi impeached Donald Trump without ever doing that. They just went right into it, and they didn't seem to have any problems.
I think that, yeah, it does, because it shows a level of respect for the process. And the process and the system is what's broken in Washington, D.C. For years, these people have basically been doing whatever they want to do. The people be damned. All right. And so by actually holding the vote and by everybody actually voting for it, it shows that where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, there is need for a proper investigation and a presentation of all of that evidence to the public, up until the point where we have proven metrics that we can point to. All of these stories, all of these anecdotes, about all of these emails and phone calls and pictures, it's a lot of fluff, frankly. All right. We need the corruption of the Biden criminal enterprise and the Washington, D.C. establishment to be presented, to be proven, and to be indisputable. And there you go. I mean, I don't think that ultimately at the end of the day, it's really going to change much of anything other than the minds of the American people. I mean, they're not going to convict him in the Senate. I just do not believe that that's going to be possible because all they have is the Democrat majority there. I was pleasantly surprised to see that every single Republican voted in favor of it. That might have just been a ceremonial, if you will. I mean, I tend to believe that despite the fact that they're Washington, D.C. politicians, they are smart enough to know that pretty much the entirety of the Republican base believes that Joe Biden is a crook and that he and his family have been engaged in influence peddling and illegally trading on America's foreign policy for millions of dollars. That in and of itself is damning. And so if somebody didn't vote for that, think about the backlash they would get from their constituents. I mean, I don't know a single Republican who isn't like, of course, Joe Biden's a crook. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Right. Well, I was mostly worried about the ones leaving that don't care about their constituents, the ones that are taking their ball and going home, that aren't looking to be reelected. They could pretty much do whatever they want and sleep just fine at night because they're no longer seeking the approval of their voters.
Unless they have higher political aspirations.
That could also for sure be the case. There is some other advantages passing the vote for the impeachment inquiry gives Congress, and I think one of them, if I read correctly, was it gives them access to to grand juries.
Yes.
Like that. So it gives them a bit more firepower. It makes their subpoenas, and if they're to be challenged in court, makes them way harder to dismiss.
Yep.
So there are definitely some advantages to it. And you're right. I think, with the Republicans kind of playing on the away team, they're kind of the away team always with the way the federal government is set up. You have to unfortunately jump through all of those loopholes that maybe the Democrats can kind of ignore because there's so much of the system from the media to the Department of Justice and elsewhere behind them, to back them up regardless of a vote. So I could see why the more I think about it. I look forward to seeing how that affects 2024, Zach. I think it's going to make you kind of have these dueling investigations between Donald Trump and his legal issues and Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. It's making up for 24 to be just a year of fireworks. I have a feeling you and I are going to have a lot of fun over the next 12 months having these discussions week by week as all this stuff develops.
I 100% agree. And yeah, I think so as well. So again, all of the crimes that Donald Trump is accused of committing are merely projections of Joe Biden's actual actions. So as he makes his way through these criminal cases, it's so clear to anybody with half a brain cell that he hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't actually committed any crimes. This is all just a political process that is designed to persecute him, to bankrupt him, to attempt to stop him from being successful in 2024. But it's having the exact opposite effect. And as we move through these cases, each one of them is going to be covered ad nauseum. Okay. All of the mainstream outlets, the same ones that had Trump 24/7, grab him by the pussy, all of that stuff, they're going to be talking about these cases. And the one thing that's going to be suspiciously lacking, despite all of their claims leading up to it, is any evidence to suggest that Donald Trump is guilty. Meanwhile, at the exact same time, Joe Biden's impeachment inquiry and continuing ongoing investigations into he and his family and their criminal business ventures are also going to be going on. And that evidence will also be presented. And so you will literally at the same time watch Donald Trump be exonerated and Joe Biden be indicted. I think that it's a wonderful thing for the psyche of America and for helping people make up their minds as we move into 2024. And as we've said before, barring all of that, if they get to 2024 and they still steal it, they come back with more than 81 million votes or something crazy like that, America is not going to stand for it. Like, that will be the last straw. It'll be like a spark on a powder keg.
If they could steal it, do you think they'd be really showing their ass going after Donald Trump the way that they are? Like if they're truly comfortable, because wouldn't that be the ultimate embarrassment just to beat him twice, to steal it from him twice? I feel like that would be more punishment than even throwing him in jail for a guy like Donald Trump. If they felt truly comfortable that they could pull off again what they did in 2020 after how much has been exposed and, how aware the country is of these games. I don't see them, like I said, showing their ass this aggressively with this clearly political persecution of the man.
No, I think there is a distinct possibility that they're not going to be able to steal it, and that's why they're throwing everything at the wall. I truly smell desperation in these people. They know that their candidate is not the guy. They know there's no way they can convince America that he's the guy. They know that everybody loves Donald Trump. They're paying attention to these polls. Okay, they're oversampling for Democrats, and they still can't make it look like Joe Biden is beating him. Donald Trump, his popularity, his connection with the people, everything is stronger than it's ever been. And yeah, I think that they are definitely afraid that they're not going to be able to pull it off a second time, that it would just be too obvious, or that even if they try, we're going to be able to overcome it. So yeah, there is a sense of desperation in what they're doing. And so, I don't think we've seen the last of probably indictments for President Trump or, any other type of crazy thing that they might try to do. What I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Supreme Court says, because that might just take care of all of the criminal cases.
Well, that's a good transition, right? Because kind of brilliantly, the way Trump's defense team has appealed and worked the process here, they're taking away the desired trial date, right? Jack Smith and his team are desperate to have Donald Trump on trial starting the day before Super Tuesday. They want a March trial. They want, an opportunity to get a conviction before the 2024 election. And that's why they are desperately trying to skip the appellate process and go right to the Supreme Court. It's kind of interesting to watch this cat and mouse game going on as far as the timing of all this. What do you make of that? This trying to skip the appellate process, go straight to the Supreme Court on the presidential immunity question.
So, definitely, I think it's about timing. Like, that trial is now paused as this case moves through. So it's likely it's not going to happen on March 4th, regardless of whatever the Supreme Court says. They meet on January 5th or something like that. Yeah. And they may take longer than March 4th to decide ultimately what needs to happen. And I think that skipping the appellate process was an effort to kind of speed that along so that we could get it, so that he could get it, rather, to the Supreme Court quicker. And he wouldn't have to wait and see how long it was going to take the appellate process to actually be decided. Now, there's another possibility here. The Supreme Court may say, well, no, I guess they've already accepted it. They've already accepted it, so they can't do this. They could have said, no, you've got to go through the appellate process, do that first, and then come and talk to us after that. So I think that America has a rich tradition and history in the immunity of the executive. That's been established, right? If the Supreme Court says that President Trump doesn't have a presidential immunity, then he's not the only one who doesn't have presidential immunity. That is now something you could extrapolate onto any other living president. All right. So like Obama would be at risk. George W. Bush would be at risk.
The long con? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's a possibility. Because if they do that, then it opens the door to a wholly different avenue.
When they say Presidential Immunities Act, I'm a little confused by this. What does that extend to? Like, because it's like, as president, you can't just go around doing whatever you want. I mean, it's not like you can go and murder somebody or go rob a bank and be like, presidential immunity. You can't, like. So what is the context in which this idea like of presidential immunity really is applicable? Because I find that confusing.
I mean, immunity means one thing, and that is that you don't have any liability. And that extends to literally everything. I mean, they called Bush a war criminal. I mean, do you know how many Iraqis died in Gulf War II? Yeah, I mean, millions of people died at the hands of so many
children. Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, so this is, so literally they can just kill people. They can rob banks. I mean, they stole tons of money from us after the 2008 financial crash, and they gave it to the banks, so I
stand corrected.
They can kill people. They can rob people. They can take your land. They can do whatever they want. Okay. And the executive has ultimate immunity because they have to make the hard calls. They have to make decisions that, otherwise you may be held accountable for. And, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that George W. Bush had presidential immunity, he was like, convicted of war crimes, like in The Hague or something like that. I don't remember exactly what, but I mean, like, there were countries that said, if George W. Bush comes through here, we're going to arrest him and we're going to hand him over to the International Criminal Court. So, I mean, it's ultimate immunity.
That's wild. That's wild to me. But I wonder if President Trump did that, not necessarily to win at the Supreme Court, but to get them to remove this idea of presidential immunity, set that precedent. So when the shoe's on the other foot, there's really nowhere to run and hide, right? I mean, I feel like that's kind of the game we're playing right now, is using their complete hatred and fear of Donald Trump to remove a lot of these historical precedents about how former leaders and presidents have been kind of treated in the past when it comes to what they can get away with, and then taking that new precedent, attaching it to the end of a hammer and bashing the shit out of every traitor, thief, and crook that has run this country prior to 2016. Because that's the move, right? Is if you really want accountability, you're talking Clinton, you're talking Bush 1, Bush 2, Obama. These people all were absolute criminals. The stuff that they did while in office is ridiculous, and they should be held accountable. So I think Donald Trump might be that vehicle to kind of get them to reset their own rules in our favor.
I think that's a distinct possibility, and it certainly helps that Donald Trump didn't actually break any laws. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't start any wars. He didn't take our money. He didn't take anybody's land. I mean, like, he protected America. And how many times have you heard people say, I want this person or that person to be held accountable, but up until the Supreme Court now having this in their hands, there really was no opportunity to do that. There's no way that it could have been done. And now the door has been opened. It's ironic to think that these people would want to destroy Donald Trump so much that they would literally put their own necks on the chopping block, but that's exactly what they've done.
They definitely fear a second term. They're obviously terrified of a second term. So yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of, they're throwing the Hail Mary, right? They're doing anything they can to get rid of him. Because let's be honest, if it's not him, they'd have nothing to worry about. Even if presidential immunity is removed, like, it's going to go back to the old boys club that we've been so used to seeing for so long, where these guys just do whatever they want and know that they have all the right friends in all the right places to continue getting away with it. So no, it's very interesting times to see this stuff play out, and potentially setting up for very interesting days, a year or so from now, if we do see another Trump administration, which I think we will. I think it sets up for really, really interesting second administration. Let's take care of our last set of sponsors here. We got two more for you. This next one is Earth Garden Botanicals. This is an amazing company, one that has been sponsoring my channel 412 Productions for quite a while. I love their products, so let's go ahead and take care of them. Are you looking for herbal solutions that are clean and natural? Look no further than Earth Garden Botanicals and your America First herbalist, nestled in the heart of Northwest Montana. Earth Garden Botanicals takes pride in crafting small, handcrafted batches of herbal remedies using only the finest organic and wild-crafted herbs from their local mountains. Sunshine and Pine Tea Blend is a harmonious combination of Western white pine and nutrient-rich herbs, the perfect afternoon pick-me-up that provides you with a boost of vitamin C, suramin, and quercetin. Herbs of 1918 is a time-honored formula widely used by the 1918 pandemic, whose reputation endures. Fire cider is a timeless tonic infused with apple cider vinegar and warming wellness supporting ingredients. Elderberry tonic is a customer favorite. Elderberries are gathered from the mountains near Glacier National Park, blended with honey, herbal tinctures, and fire cider to create a tonic that is praised for its respiratory support. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/earthgarden and use promo code BADLANDS to receive 10% off. That's badlandsmedia.tv/earthgarden, and the promo code is BADLANDS for 10% off. Again, guys, those are amazing products. I've been using much of the stuff from Jolene's website, Earth Garden, and it is all top-notch products. We got another new sponsor here for our last one today. This one is called Manly Cans. Are you tired of searching for the perfect gift for the men in your life? Look no further. Introducing Manly Cans, the ultimate destination for spoiling the guys with cool stuff they actually want. Manly Cans are more than just gifts. They're an experience. Each can is carefully packed in reusable packaging, including cans, burlap bags, and even a greeting card that doubles as a coaster. And the best part, you can customize your Manly can to fit your man's preferences. Choose from a wide variety of cans, and during checkout, and additional items to make it just right for him. This holiday season, we've got a special treat for you. You can replace the burlap bag with a festive Santa sack, or go all out with our killer Christmas add-on package, which includes the Santa sack, the story of Brian, the reindeer games loser, and a festive Brian coaster. Manly Cans is not just a gift, it's an unforgettable experience that supports small business too. Join us in our mission to spoil the men in your life. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/Manly Cans today and make this holiday season one to remember. Manly Cans, because men deserve to be spoiled too. That's badlandsmedia.tv/Manly Cans. So big thank you to all of the sponsors today, as always. And guys, please continue to support the sponsors over on Badlands Media. It's a great way to support this show, and we greatly appreciate it. There's another Supreme Court case, Zach, that could affect Donald Trump's legal future and the legal future of hundreds, if not thousands, of other patriotic Americans, and that is the court case around January 6th. Section 1512C2, where they're using this obstruction of Congress, trying to go after people. And so basically what they're doing is they're taking this statute that's meant to be for like evidence tampering, and they're reworking it to charge people that entered the Capitol on January 6th. And the reason they're doing that is it's first of all, it's a felony charge. And it has a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. So if you're a prosecutor that wants to get, a grandma who walked through the Capitol waving a flag, not violent, not breaking anything, not threatening anybody, really causing no harm, you come at them with this, threatening them with 20 years in prison, and then you get them to take a bad plea deal. And you never even have to go to trial, right? So they're using this as a leverage tool against Americans to get them to take bad pleas, to bump up their conviction numbers and continue this narrative of MAGA extremists and domestic terrorism and blah 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 blah. It's really dirty prosecution. So there's a couple of J6 defendants, I think 3 of them, that kind of combined in their suit against the government. The Supreme Court has signaled they're going to take it, and I think that's a really, really good sign. If they determine that this statute is being wrongly used, I think it changes the entire game with January 6th. What are your thoughts on this case going up to the Supreme Court, Zach?
Yeah, I don't think the importance of this can be understated in any sense. The treatment that these men and women have experienced through the heavy-handed attention of the Justice Department has just been abhorrent. I mean, the way that they've been treated in jail, the way they've been treated in the courtroom, it's truly an attempt to send a message to anyone who would dare to consider standing up against that authoritarian regime in any sense. Jake Lang, one of the defendants here, he's actually joining me for a few minutes at the start of the 5 o'clock hour. Cool. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this for a few minutes. And, what's really cool is that he set up a legal defense fund for the January 6th defendants who don't have the ability to pay for their own legal fees. And recently he had Patrick Byrne on his podcast. The guy is, he's in a federal penitentiary and he's still hosting a podcast from behind bars. It's pretty incredible. Jake is a really, really ambitious guy, and he deserves a lot of praise for the work that he puts into this, because it's basically his whole life, and it still would be if he wasn't behind bars. But to be able to do it from that jail cell, it's pretty incredible. But Patrick Byrne agreed to donate $500,000, $500,000 to the J6 Legal Defense Fund, which you can find at j6legal.org, if they could get the total amount raised to match it. So they need to raise $500,000 by Sunday. And the people might hear that and say, wow, that's totally impossible. 24 hours ago, Jake was at $215,000. Right now, he's at $323,000.
Wow.
So, by Sunday, that's several days away. There is a distinct possibility that it could happen. And I know that everybody is hurting, and it's a hard thing to get out there and ask for donations and stuff. But if it's something that you or somebody that would have the ability to do just to help these guys get a little bit closer, I think it's a worthy cause. And, all of it is accounted for. This is not one of those things where, somebody sets up a GoFundMe and then they buy a Lamborghini or something like that. This is all immediately going to help the people who are in the worst possible legal positions. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to Jake about this today. And I think more than anything else, the relief that it could possibly give to these guys is worth every penny.
What should happen to the prosecutors, Zach, that have used this statute, really outside of the spirit of why the law was created, right? I mean, it's definitely an example of malicious prosecution. I feel like should there be repercussions? Should we be looking at suspending law licenses? Kicking people out of the bar? What should happen, in your opinion, to the prosecutors that have been maliciously using this to basically coerce people into bad plea deals?
I think ultimately our legal system is broken, at its most fundamental level. The behavior of these prosecutors, unfortunately, it's not unique. This is what happens all over America. Federal prosecutors frequently, and even local prosecutors, they will always use the law to their advantage so that they can get a conviction. It's not really about justice. It's not even about doing what's right. It's about clearing their caseload. And in order to do that, you charge people with as much as you possibly can so that they are facing insurmountable odds that the defense would cost everything they have and more, so that you can just get them to plead guilty to something that you will accept. And in the case of the January 6th defendants, they are more than happy to make an example out of these guys and to put them away for as long as they possibly can, that's exactly what they've done. So yeah. I think that we need a fundamental shift in the way that law is practiced in the United States. It should be about truth and justice and about doing what's right. But unfortunately, these people who have a mind to make a career are just looking to increase their batting average. And so we'd have a lot of lawyers that would no longer be working if we handled this properly. And we would probably have a shortage of legal options for several years, because we would need to put people through school again. But even then, they're being taught to behave in this way. And then the leadership at these offices, at the ADAs and at the local prosecutor's office, they're teaching them how to do this. It's really sickening, because you've got this overzealous prosecution on one end, and then you've got the Soros permissive prosecutions on the other end, the ones who just don't charge anybody anything. There has to be a happy medium. There has to be a true and fair application of justice that could exist, but it's going to take time to get there. And I think that in order to start the process, that's going to require the gutting of the federal government and large portions of these federal agencies. And that's going to happen in the next administration. Also, we need to clear out the woke educators. I mean, like the professors that are focused on making people pay, making white people pay, and basically signing reparations checks in the form of non-prosecution agreements with people that they think have been lifelong victims. So it's a really big problem. And, Elon Musk is about to start a technical university. We need like some patriotic American who has the means to start a new law school that teaches people the law in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, there needs to be like we talk about a parallel economy. We need a whole parallel infrastructure built, man, from education and finance to like all of it. I feel like either there needs to be a parallel, system built, or the current one needs to be, completely ripped down to the studs and fixed up. But I agree. The problem is deep, and there's no real easy answer when it comes to that. One last thing here. I had a few other things written down I wanted to get into. We don't have a lot of time, so I'll go with the easiest one here, Zach, to wrap up the show. Alex Jones is back on Twitter. What are your thoughts on Alex Jones and his return to Twitter? Does that signal anything big to you? Is it a big deal at all? Are you an Alex Jones fan? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I used to listen to Alex Jones years ago. I'm certainly not going to trash Alex Jones, because if anybody in the chat is like a lover of Alex Jones, you always hear about it. But, I don't think Alex Jones is for everyone. He's done a ton of good. He's brought a lot of people around to some fairly important ideas. And for that, I definitely thank him. I thank him for the programming that he was producing when I was listening to him years ago. But him coming back to Twitter, I felt like it was inevitable. And I think that what Elon Musk is doing in allowing all of these accounts back, it's commendable. And I think that it's a necessary part of overcoming that severe swing to the left that we had. We need to see the same sort of thing happening now with smaller accounts. A lot of people have been brought back, but I hear all the time from plenty of other people that say that, they're still not allowed on there. And they certainly did a lot less than saying Sandy Hook was a psyop or something like that. So, there is the possibility, and this is actually coming from David Icke, that Alex Jones and Elon Musk are the new mainstream alternative media. And that's basically to capture the attention of people who would otherwise be looking other places. I hope that with Alex Jones coming back to Twitter, I feel like people have already diversified the ways that they get their information and the places that they go. Like the people who were hardcore Alex Jones fans and that's all they listened to, they followed him to Infowars.com. Right. Now, I'm sure a lot more people are going to be paying attention to what he says, and with good reason. But I don't think that Alex is going to capture the minds of people who have been listening to other independent podcasters.
Is he a gatekeeper in your mind?
I suppose that, you could say that. I think that everybody has the right to discuss the topics that they want to talk about, though. It's like, all the time people will come into the chat and, why don't you talk about this? You're gatekeeping. Yeah. I'm like, start your own show. If that's the most important thing to you, then start your own show. It's subjective, right? Everybody has their own opinions. Everybody has their own way that they talk about things. And there is such a diversity of opinion. I kind of am over the term gatekeeping at this point, because it seems it's a bit of a trick. It's a bit of a misdirect, and it's an easy way to attack somebody if they're not saying what you want them to say.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. I have I like Alex Jones. I find him extremely entertaining. I wonder about his true intentions. My problem with him is he takes so much of what we talk about and then puts clown makeup on it. And then, when you try to have a conversation with a normie out there, you're like, oh, you sound like Alex Jones. And they just kind of dismiss everything that you're saying because they associate those thoughts, those ideas with the guy that, takes his shirt off and talks about gay frogs and whatever. But I think that he needs to be allowed to have his show, to be able to speak, to be on these major platforms. He has just as much right as anybody else. And it's up to us individually to discern, what's of value, what's not, what resonates with you, what doesn't. So while I think that he does cause some harm, and I don't 100% appreciate the way he goes about all of his business, I hate the way that he was censored and deplatformed and demonetized and targeted from a legal sense. I thought it was completely ridiculous. Zach, I know I've kept you probably a minute too long here. Go ahead and plug your show and do your thing, man.
I'm starting at 5 p.m. redpill78news.com. Also redpill78 on the Foxhole and Rumble, and Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m., Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m. And, I love you. Thank you very much. We'll see you.
You're the best, Zach. Thank you, brother.
Peace. Thank you.
Yep. There he goes. Zach Payne. What a legend. What a guy. What a pro. Absolute badass in the independent media. And I am, like I said, I always say this every week, but I'm so blessed to work with people like Zach and Frank, and have the amazing opportunity to broadcast and be syndicated on a network like Badlands Media, which is just run by amazing salt of the earth patriots. I truly am blessed. And I thank you guys all so much for tuning in, hanging out with us today. And if you want to follow me, outside of the Badlands show here, those of you guys watching on Badlands Media, my name is Adel Nero. My channel is 412 Productions. You can find it on Rumble, Pill.net, DLive, CloudHub, Odyssey, YouTube, or not YouTube anymore. I'm on Twitter at 412anon87. I'm over on Truth Social as well at 412. I'd love to earn your follow anywhere you guys would be willing to jump over and click the button. But I go live from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And obviously Thursdays, I'm here with you guys for taking it back. But yeah, please come find us, whether it's, I know most of you on Badlands watch on Rumble. So if you want to come find us on Rumble, it's 412 Productions over on Rumble. I'd love to see you all in the chat on one of our other weekday broadcasts. But again, thank you. Big thank you to Zach Payne of redpill78news.com. Again, he's going live any second now if he's not already. And I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I think we're gonna have a special guest, but I'm not 100% sure, so I won't even tease it because I've been wrong the last couple of Fridays. But We should have a guest tomorrow, and it should be a really fun end of the week discussion to send you guys all off into your weekends. So please come follow and hang out with us tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm just going to say some thank yous to those of you who have donated over in the comfy bunker on pill.net, the home of free speech online. Let's see what we got over here. Due Diligence says, you know what kind of cookie this is, Keck? Oh yeah, tucking it back cookie. Thank you, Floyd. Boys Blanc, thank you. Loop the Loop, thank you. Says Cookie Fee. Boys Blanc again, appreciate it a lot. Filter Dog 1, thank you for the shades. Says coolest show of the week. That's extremely high praise. There's so much awesome content in the alternative media space. So just to be a part of it, you know, is amazing. So thank you so much. That's really kind, Filter Dog. Silent Runner, Jesse 81138, 123 SKG, Sean Joe, Bella 214. Thank you guys so much for the support. Target Driver, so Zach and I agree that loss of presidential immunity can boomerang. DJT's tax docs were the model. Interesting. Yeah, I think there's a definite possibility that this is all walking them into a larger trap, but we'll see what the Supreme Court does. They might just dismiss the case outright. You know, I don't know. Ohio Kimmy, thank you for the cookie. Patriot Donnie, thank you for the ship. Extremely generous. Says our DOJ is more corrupt than any third world country. God bless Jake. Yeah, it really is. It's a shame to see it kind of morph into what it has in this country. It's not supposed to be like this, and who knows, maybe in good time we'll get it back to, you know, the vision the founding fathers had. And then let's see. Filter Dog 1, thank you for the can. Due Diligence is cheers to another great show. After party, not today, unfortunately. Have some stuff I need to get done around the house, but we'll definitely do the Saturday morning chat this week. So, you know, we'll have an opportunity to get you guys to jump in, and I'll take your calls. We'll listen to some music. We'll have a good time to kick off the weekend. But thank you so much for the can, Floyd. Trick Pony, thank you for the cookie. Really appreciate that. Remy Ace of Spades says, great show today, Adel. Thank you, Remy. I appreciate it. I had almost no prep for it whatsoever. Honestly, we just kind of were winging it today, and I thought the conversation went pretty damn smoothly, honestly. So glad you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed broadcasting it to you. Filter Dog 1, cheers. Thank you so much for the can. You guys are incredible. Again, thank you so much for all the love and support. I'm going to go ahead and release the scratching, so those of you over on pill.net can win a few gold pills as we say goodbye. We did, I need to refresh, I think. Let's see, we did 4,001 gold pills. Very cool. Thank you guys for the wonderful Thursday. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. For Zach Payne of redpill78news.com. Shout out to Quite Frankly of quitefrankly.tv. Who couldn't be here with us today. My name is Adel Nero of 412 Productions. You're watching Taking It Back, a 412 production. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We'll catch you all on the next one. Oh, thank you, Switch Rods. It's 250 gold pills. AJ, Alex Jones, fire on War Room. We're battered, wife, kids loaded in car to escape. Globalist, deep state husband with gun threaten. What? That sounds crazy, but thank you for the gold pills. I really appreciate it, Switch Rod. All right, guys, that's it. We'll see you all on the next one. Have a great rest of your Thursday night.